Hello and welcome to this video. This is a video on how to use pedal when working on my sight reading and harmony book. Now, if you haven't heard of this book yet, you've been hiding somewhere. The whole world knows about this book now. It's called Sight Reading and Harmony. It is the world's leading book and system on sight reading, in which I lay out a program or a system on how to build up reading full chords, full four-note chords, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and in the music of Bach. And so in my opinion, I believe that the better you can read these vertical harmonies, then the better your sight reading will become, because one of the stumbling blocks with sight reading is being able to read more than one note at a time in both hands. Now, this video is something a little different, and it's how to use pedal when playing sight reading and harmony. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, my teacher told me never to use pedal when playing Bach, or these are chords, I don't want to mess anything up by using the pedal, or pedal is cheating. Okay, I'm going to just throw all that out the window, and I'm going to teach you how to use pedal correctly and when to use it when working on sight reading and harmony. And I think you'll really enjoy this, because it gets a little old after a while, and it gets very dry if you always strive for getting a perfect finger legato and you have fingerings worked out to where every finger has a place, and if that finger is out of place, then the whole thing falls apart. Or you try to get every single note legato with the fingers, and you're trying really hard to do everything with the fingers, but you're not using any pedal. And the part of playing the piano is learning how to use the pedal to your advantage. So I'm going to show you that here in this video, because actually in a later video, actually, in sort of the sequel to this video, I am going to do a longer video on how and when to use pedal in Bach's music in general, not just this book or his chorales, but all of his music. So this is sort of preparation towards that. So if you want to learn more about pedaling, stay tuned to this video. Okay, if you have sight reading and harmony, I want you to open up to part 4, page 1. You've probably played this a million times if you've had this book. And if you don't have sight reading and harmony, you need to get it. Go right down below this video. And if you act in the month of December, you'll get 20% off, either hard copy or the digital version. Also 20% off Well-Rounded Pianist membership. So if you like my teaching and you would like to learn piano with me online, and I post new content every week. I post much more new content on the Well-Rounded Pianist than I do on YouTube. So if you're interested in learning piano with me, and or you would like to get some sheet music, including sight reading and harmony, just follow the links below this video, and that will take you to the proper place. So let's open up to page 1. All right, so we're going to look at the grades 7 to 8 line here. I'm choosing this just because it's straight quarter notes, and this is a great way to learn how to use pedal. All right, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this in a very choppy kind of manner, and with no pedal. So I don't have any feet on the pedal. And I'm going to do something pretty radical here. I'm going to play the chord, and I'm going to lift up my hand at least that far off the keys, about 2 or 3 inches off the keys after every chord. Okay, let's try this. So. make sure when you do this, if you do this way, and I would suggest practicing it this way. I know it looks weird, but I'll explain why I do this. Make sure on the last measure, you hold that A. So when you lift to hit the C and the F sharp, make sure you still hold that A down with your fifth finger. It's very important because that's the melody note. Okay, let me do that again, just a tad faster. Okay, I know it sounds a little ridiculous and you're wondering, why on earth am I doing this? This is where the pedal comes in. This is the easiest and the best way to learn how to use pedal, not just in Bach or not just in sight reading and harmony, but in all music that has chords. So church hymns, anything very chordal by Chopin or Brahms or Liszt or any of the great composers. You can, and Bach, of course. I'm going to make a video very soon on using pedal in the music of Bach. So this is a very good preparation for that. Now, I'm going to explain what the pedal does if you don't know it already. So, I'm sorry if you're advanced and you know what the pedal does. I don't want to insult your intelligence. So I'm approaching this as if you don't know anything about the pedal. So when you put your foot on the damper pedal, the right pedal, and push it down, it has dampers inside the piano, and as you push the pedal down, the dampers come up, and that makes the strings vibrate when the pedal is down. But if the pedal is up, if you're not depressing the pedal, the dampers are on the string. So in other words, if I push a note with no pedal and I release my finger, the sound just dies. It's all of a sudden dead. Whereas if I push the right pedal all the way down, you have to push it all the way down to the floor, hold it, then push the note, lift your finger. Do you hear the overtones? Now that's not going to die, it's not going to go away until I release the pedal. But make sure you don't thump it. So you have to practice. If you're not used to using the pedal, I would suggest very sort of controlled and gracefully, just practice going up and down, not fast, but just at a nice slow pace, just so you can practice going up and down with your foot. Because that's the first thing. If you're not used to using the pedal, you need to really just practice just doing foot exercises. Just go down, up, down, up, down, up. And you want to keep your heel on the floor. So don't do this like that. You want to keep your heel on the floor. And if your pedal happens to be too high, for some reason, maybe you could get just a thin book or something to put under here, just so you don't have to, have such a space between your heel and the pedal. So ideally, you want a very comfortable position of your foot on the pedal, and you want to I'm placing the bottom of hopefully you can see it. It's about right here, so about the bottom of where your big toe, about the bottom of your big toe area is where you want that on the edge of the pedal here. Okay, so after you've practiced a little bit just going up and down with the pedal, we're going to try this exercise here, but we're going to try it with pedal. And here's what we're going to do. Here's the rule. When you push down a chord, the pedal will go up. So the pedal and the notes have an inverse relationship. As remember, here's the rule for pedaling. It's not just here, it's all the time for pedaling. Whenever a note or chord goes down, the pedal goes up. And then when you release your finger off, if you want that to be held, you need to push the pedal back down again. So remember, chord down exactly at the same time as the chord is going down, you lift the pedal up. And then you have to put it right back down again. Then you can lift your finger, or chord, and put it on the next note. And then when this goes down, the pedal goes up. And then it goes right back down again. Then you lift, go to the next one. When you push it down, up, right back down again. So the cadence of the pedaling is there's going to be much more down. You're going to be down much more often than you'll be up. So up is just when you release, down is all of the other time. So let's start this example, and I'll show you how you can use this in a practical example like this. To start, we're going to push the pedal down all the way. So push the pedal down before you start. And if you do it, you can actually hear, if you talk loud, I can hear myself echoing. You can hear echo coming out of the piano because the dampers are up, and it's making my talking right now is sort of echoing. I don't know if you can hear that on this particular device. So pedal goes all the way down, play your chord, lift your hand up. Now, don't do this. Most beginners will do this with pedal. Okay, so I'm going to put the pedal down. I'm going to play my chord. And then when they lift the pedal, or when they release their fingers, they release the pedal with it. So that's what you have to train yourself not to do that. That's the biggest mistake that beginners make when learning how to use the pedal, is that because it's in human nature, we want to, if you release your hands, if your hands come up, the natural thing to want to do is to release the pedal too. But you don't want to do that. You need to fight against that. So we're going to play the chord with the pedal down. Release the chord, but keep the pedal down. Now, right when I push the next chord, the pedal goes up. Watch my foot. But it goes right back down again. So the up it only stays up like a half a second, and then it goes right back down again. But you have to release it all the way, 100%. If you don't release it 100%, you'll get harmonies from the previous chord mixed in, and it will start to sound muddy. It will start to sound a little like Claude Debussy or something, and not by Bach. So once again, pedal down, push your chord, release, keep the pedal down. Now I'm going to push the next chord, pedal up, pedal down, release the fingers. Next chord, pedal up, down, release the fingers. Pedal up, down, release the fingers. Pedal up, down, release the fingers. Up, down, release. Up, down, release. Up, down, release. Just remember that. Up, down, release. 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 Up, down. And then on the very last chord, keep it down, release, and then just slowly release it at the end. So don't do this at the end. Don't play it, and then don't release the pedal and release your fingers at the same time. Because what that does is it doesn't give any resonance to the last chord. And one of the things you want to do it's very important that I'm going to explain in my How to Use Pedal in Bach video that I'm going to make soon after this. I will explain it's very important that final chords can always benefit from pedal. So even if you don't use any pedal anywhere, you can always benefit from pedal on the very last chord. Because when you play the last chord, if you just lift and release and extinguish the sound, it just ends all of a sudden. It's very abrupt. But if you do this, if you play the last chord with the pedal down, release your fingers first, then slowly, see, I just slowly release the pedal, like just a slow kind of 1 to 2 second release of the pedal. Listen again. Okay, here's playing it with a abrupt release. And now here's a very timed release. That was even a little, I'm going to do it again here. Listen. Ah, that was a good one. Do you hear it sort of resonates? So here's, you don't want this, and you want, and. So the end. Don't be overzealous about getting to the ending quickly. The listener needs to hear that last chord resonate for about a second in the air. So remember not to cut that off. So now let's do this just a little faster. Remember though, the formula with the pedal, and it's up, down, release. So up with the pedal, down with the pedal, and then release your fingers. So we're going to start though with the pedal all the way down. Okay, ready, go. Up, down, release. 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 Very beautiful. Now I'm going to play it exactly the same way as I just did it, but with no pedal. From that, you get the idea. Huge, huge difference. If you use pedal correctly, and you use the pedal really well and artistically, your piano playing will get to the next level, I guarantee you. Pedaling is underemphasized by teachers. It's under-practiced by students. There's a mystery surrounding the pedal, especially when playing Bach. You'll hear some teachers saying never use pedal in Bach. I say to use pedal a lot, especially when you're playing chordal music like this. Every one of these exercises from, I would say, mostly from grades 7 to 8, grades 9 to 10, those especially, you don't really need pedal on just the two-part examples. So this top line here, you don't need pedal there. But, if you want to experiment, you can. So I'm actually doing the same thing with two lines. So if you want, you can even practice the pedal, deliberately lifting each note here and connecting with the pedal. So what you're doing is you're using the pedal to help connect. Now, do I want to play every example like this? No, not necessarily. I'm just doing this to show you how to connect. But ideally what you want to do is especially in these examples, you want to play the melody legato if you can. So you hear how I'm connecting those, and sometimes it requires some finger substitutions to do that. Like here. Like I did a finger substitution on each of these notes just so I could get a legato sound in the melody. But even if I'm using pedal, you still want to play legato if you can with your fingers. So if you have to single out a certain line to play legato, it's definitely the melody. So now I'm going to play this through, and I'm going to use pedal. I'm going to do a normal speed, and I'm not going to lift so high. I'm not going to exaggerate the lifting motions. And let's see how it sounds. And also, I'm going to try to do legato melody connections on the top fingers. So now I'm going to play that one with no pedal, and you can hear the difference. Okay, if you listen carefully, that way when I was trying to connect the melody on the top, with the top fingers, doing some finger substitutions, I was connecting probably, I would say 70% of all the notes. So remember when I did this, when we were just in the beginning, when we were practicing the pedal, we weren't connecting any of the notes. Now we're connecting about 70% of the notes, but we're also using pedal to fill in the gaps. So the pedal functions as like a caulk. It's a caulk that fills in the holes, it fills in the gaps. So it's okay, you should try to play some finger legato, but the best way to learn pedal, if you don't know pedaling, is take all the finger legato out and play it non-legato and connect the chords with the pedal. The pedal is the soul of the piano, as Rubinstein said. I don't know whether it's Arthur Rubinstein or Anton Rubinstein. There were actually two famous Rubinsteins. Rubinstein said the soul of the piano is the pedal. The pedal is the soul of the piano. And so if you don't use pedal, if you're scared to use pedal or intimidated by the pedal, or you've been told by people, don't use pedal, it's cheating, don't listen to them. Listen to me and listen to this video and start practicing your grade 7 to 8 line, especially in sight reading and harmony with pedal. Do it on a daily basis, and you'll find that you'll attune your ear and your foot to work together. So it takes a lot of practice. Pedaling is one of the most difficult techniques to teach in piano teaching. Ask any piano teacher, they'll probably tell you that pedaling is the most elusive and most difficult thing to teach. But hopefully I've done good in this video of teaching you the basics on how to use pedal when playing chordal music like this. This works in all church hymns. It works in all the Bach chorales, such in this book and other of my books. And it especially works in Bach fugues that are especially chordally based. It works in Bach preludes that have chords to it. So stay tuned for that video coming up a little later, but I wanted to first do this video just to prepare you so you know how to use the pedal. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that this really was able to help you out and demystify your relationship with the damper pedal. Yeah, until the next video, thank you.